Underway 3 weeks after a woman was found dead outside a rehabilitation center on Christmas Eve.
Monday, we showed you this police video, an officer interviewing a nurse after the tragic discovery at the Avenue at Warrensville Care and Rehab Center. Tonight, we're taking a closer look at recent cases of residents who have actually getting out of their care facilities. They're just wandering away from nursing homes.
From a resident out on the roof to a missing resident found 25 miles away. Our Sarah Goldenberg looked at cases where investigators say lives may have been put at risk.
19 Investigates dug through several nursing home inspection reports from Medicare over the last year. We found several cases where residents deemed at risk for wandering got out of their facilities without authorization or supervision. Records from last March show a severely cognitively impaired resident at Fairfax Healthcare Center in Cleveland was unaccounted for more than 3 hours. According to the report, he was wearing a WanderGuard bracelet, a device that's supposed to activate an alarm and lock the doors when they're nearby, but it didn't work. The resident's son found him at a family home and reported he had traveled on a bus to get there.
Well, I think that we just have to find out what's causing these things to happen. Is it lack of tools, the alarms? Is it lack of staff, which generally we feel it is most times?
That's Paula Mueller with Elderly Advocates, a local nonprofit fighting for better care in nursing homes. We showed her some of our findings, including this Medicare report from last August on an incident at Wesleyan Village in Elyria. A resident with Alzheimer's used a spoon to open her window and got onto the second-story roof, according to the report. A staff member saw her and helped her down less than 5 minutes later.
Once something like that happens, we have to work on ways that it doesn't happen again.
At Highland Square Nursing and Rehabilitation in Akron, we found a staff member let a cognitively impaired resident leave, according to a report dated last January. He was spotted in the parking lot. An employee went out to get him, and he refused to return, documents show. Nearly 5 hours later, the resident was found about 25 miles away from the facility at a bank. At Solon Point at Emerald Ridge, according to a report from last May, a cognitively impaired resident left the facility through an alarmed elevator that didn't go off, walked right by the receptionist, and was found more than a mile away off a 2-lane road without a sidewalk. Mueller says low staffing continues to be a problem at many nursing homes and assisted living facilities, which can lead to dangerous situations like these.
And we're even having big debates now. Should we have minimum staffing? Well, how do you have a business without the minimum tools that you need to have the business? And these aren't shelves stocked with merchandise. These are people.
All of the incidents we just told you about at local facilities were rated by Medicare as moderate to severe. Medicare had each facility review their policies, update training, and make changes, like regularly checking the WanderGuard bracelets are functioning properly. Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.